People have been claiming that Neverness was going to fail, that it had failed, that it was in the process of failing, that the game was doing poorly, that AI would kill the game, that a lack of quality would kill the game. This has been reiterated all over social media ad nauseum. But how is the game actually doing? Perfect World officially released their 2026 interim report on August 19th. That was just a little over a day ago, showing a 25% year-on-year first half loss thanks to Neverness's insane marketing costs surging plus 213%. Now, this phrases it in a way that sounds very bad. But how bad was it? Especially when you take a look at another thread over on Reddit stating that NTE's official revenue, $300 million revealed at the shareholder meeting. This was posted by Nomura Akane, who is a content creator friend of mine. Or, you know what? Apparently not. I guess not anymore. Anyway, I have absolutely no idea what happened with that, but okay. I guess I said something that must have offended them. You know what? Looking at this comment, if you DM me for a sponsorship and don't even offer me money for it, it will make me hate your company and never want to work with you and again in the future anymore. That's incredibly entitled. That's absolutely wild. There are tons of studios that reach out to content creators and offer them access to a game to cover it. They don't have to pay you for it. But that's neither here nor there. That's completely disregarding NTE. Perfect World swings to 118 million yuan loss in their first half as Neverness grosses 2 billion yuan, but marketing costs surge 213%. How much is 2 billion yuan in, okay, so it's approximately $300 million. No, so that is 100% right. The game did genuinely make $300 million. When did NTE actually release? I think it was a few months ago, right? Like April. So 4 months, approximately 4 months, made $300 million. That's honestly a lot of money. That's slightly over $70 million per month. But, and there's a caveat here, marketing costs have surged 213%. So depending on how much the marketing actually costs for this game, they might be operating at a loss. But this, I'm assuming here, was utilized as a means to secure early interest. So it's a long-term, I think, endeavor. It's a long-term investment where you spend a lot of money in the short term because in the long term, enough people are going to be playing your game and investing money into your game to warrant that original initial investment. Perfect World posted the first half 2026 revenue of 2.75 billion yuan, approximately $400 million, down 25% from last year. What on earth did they release last year that made them more money than NTE making over $70 million a month earned them, with net profit attributable to shareholders swinging to a loss of 118 million yuan, approximately $17 million. I mean, that's barely even a loss. Let's be real. $17 million, it's barely a loss. The loss stemmed primarily from a revenue expense mismatch tied to the April global NTE. Marketing costs were recognized up front in the current period, while player spending must be recognized as revenue over the game's life cycle. Selling expenses surged 213% to 1 billion yuan. Oh, that's a lot of money. That's actually a lot of money. Yeah, $153 million in the first half. The game itself performed strongly, so it did very well. Cumulative global across billing surpassed 2 billion yuan, approximately $297 million as of August 18th, driving overseas revenue up 178%. There was an almost 200% increase in overseas revenue. That is wild. Global players really do like NTE. To 511 million yuan, approximately $76 million. Operating cash flow reached 647 million yuan. This is approximately almost $100 million, 96.2 million, up 28.8% year on year. Okay, so operating cash flow, so it costs more for them to keep operating the games. The company expects NTE's earnings contribution to ramp up from Q3 with additional new titles including Dream of New Dis, Light Enjoyment set to launch, supporting a second half recovery. I mean, NTE, you don't have to market the game nearly as much anymore. That initial month or multi-month period probably cost them an absolute fortune, an arm and a leg. But now that NTE has already established itself, you're not going to have to worry. You're not going to have to spend as much money to keep the game operable, to keep generating new interest. Sure, you're going to utilize quite an extensive amount of marketing, no doubt, but a lot less, I think, overall. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. NTE's global launch in April, intensive global marketing campaign, players continue to top up, selling expenses recognized upfront in the current period, which it said that they didn't expect to spend as much as they did. Billings recognized as revenue over game life cycle, which means that they're going to continue to earn a set amount over an extended period of time, and they will accrue enough to make up the losses that they spent in the short term. First half swings from profit to loss. Mismatch factor gradually fades in the second half, and it will. I mean, if the game continues to make even half of what it's been making, even if it settles at like $30-40 million a month, like, let's be real, there's a lot of money, and still, you know, approximately like $500 million a year. So they're gonna no doubt make that up in the foreseeable future. The market performance of NTE was far from weak. The game launched globally in April, covering more than 180 countries and regions with simultaneous release across 6 platforms. Cumulative global gross billings exceeded 1.4 billion yuan as of June 30th and climbed past 2 billion yuan by August 18th. So in 18 days, they managed to generate $89 million, almost $90 million in 18 days. Oh my god, that's wild. That was Shinku's patch, right? No, that was Iroi. I think that was Iroi. God damn. With official channel billings accounting for nearly 60% of the total. Titles repeatedly entered the top 5 on the iOS bestseller charts both in China and overseas, and topped the PS console popularity rankings in markets including Japan. The company expects NTE's earnings contribution to ramp up gradually from the third quarter onward. I mean, it did with Wuwa. Like, I'm not using Wuwa as a means here to initiate any kind of tribalism. I'm saying that Wuthering Waves at 1.0 did great. It proceeded to kind of taper off a little bit over the course of the first like 4 or 5 major patches, and then 2.0 hit, and then 2.0 improved and earned more than previous versions, and then the same thing happened for 3.0. 3.0 continues to rise and make more money. NTE, following the same logic, following the same, you know, popularity, enjoyment, consumption from players, is going to continue to, in theory, make more and more money gradually over time as the game continues to build new content, as the game continues to build a larger, stronger audience of players. Again, not using this as a means to engage in or initiate tribalism, but you can make comparisons like this fact-based with no ill intent, malintent whatsoever, just purely fact-based only. Because Wuwa is the only non-Hoyoverse gacha game of this scale to release after the monolith that was Genshin Impact. NTE followed Wuwa, and then so did Arknight's Infield, so you can compare all of these games. Overseas markets were the biggest bright spot in the first half. Revenue from outside of China reached approximately $76 million, which surged almost 180% from the previous year, which is kind of crazy. Despite the net loss, the company's cash flow remained solid. Operating cash flow for the first half reached almost $100 million, up almost 30% from the previous year, driven mainly by cash inflows from Neverness's launch. Looking ahead, the new turn-based MMO titled Dream of New Light Enjoyment is scheduled for public launch on September 3rd. Wait, that's a new MMO? This is a new J Dynasty. That's what it is. Oh yeah, this game is probably gonna go hard. J Dynasty is a popular IP. Ultimately though, as you can see, NTE has done very well for itself. I've been streaming every new patch. I've been creating content on it. You can look at my channel. I've done guides for every single character. I appreciate the fact that NTE is also sponsoring me regularly for patches because the game is good. Arknight's Infield is fun, NTE is fun, Wuwa is fun. There's so much variety in the genre right now, and I am glad to be a part of all of it. Not like NTE isn't perfect, right? They've had their issues. They had their issues with AI. They've had their issues where they've taken inspiration from or copied other games or animations from other games. I mean, a lot of games do it. That's just China. But if it were as big of an issue as some people were to believe it was, then it wouldn't be making the kind of revenue that it's currently making. Now, I don't condone the copying, or I don't condone plagiarism. I don't condone using AI to generate content, generative AI at all. but at the same time, if people were against it, then they would make this intent known, and the game would not be a success. And evidently, it is. It has its issues. It's a good game. It's a fun game, but it has its issues. Arknights Enfield has its issues. It had the whole PayPal issue at the beginning of the game's launch. Wuthering Waves has its issues. Genshin has its issues. Nikke has its issues with the new DEI hire, dude. But Blue Archive, they implemented the 50-50 system, which is just atrocious. All these games are good games. Just sometimes they do stupid shit. You know what I mean? Ultimately, I'm having fun in all of them. I'm going to continue covering all of them until something happens where I either get bored, I don't want to anymore, or the company ends up doing something that I just can't forgive, and I ultimately don't want to work with them anymore. So this is cool. This is good. This is awesome, and good for them for generating as much money and having the success that they've had. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No. Instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.